Welcome to the Empowerment Show, a weekly podcast call-in show that's here to enrich and educate the community of beautiful Northeast Pennsylvania and its surrounding areas. Hosted by Kendall Stevenson.
The opinions expressed on the radio program by the hosts, co-hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Genesis Radio, www.genesisradio.com, Genesis Radio's owners, management, or affiliates.
Good evening, and welcome to GenesisRadio.com. My name is Kendall. I'm the host of the Empowerment Show. The Empowerment Show is basically a part of unity in the community. So we hope that you enjoy the show. As usual, we start our show with showing some gratitude for things that may have happened to us or just being thankful. So my little thing is I was on my way here this evening and I was driving. And a guy swerved in front of me and slammed right dead into the wall. Now, lucky for me, I didn't touch him. So that's my moment of gratitude. This evening, we have a young lady here. Her name is Maggie Hartman. Hello, Maggie. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks.
Good. We'd like you to tell us a little bit about you. Let's know about your background.
Sure. Well, right now I live in Paradise Township. It's in the Pocono Mountain School District. I'm married to Tom. We have two kids, Chip and Bailey. They are about to turn 5 and 6. So I have one in kindergarten and one still in part-time preschool. And I went to college. I studied sociology. So I have a bachelor's of science degree. And I studied a little bit of real estate. But I never actually followed through and got my license. So,
So what are you doing now?
I work for my husband. I work in the office. A lot of what I do, I can do remotely.
Okay, you say in the office? What office? What type of work does he do?
He owns Hartman Electrical Contracting.
Oh, Hartman Electrical. Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of paperwork, billing.
I thought he had a radio show.
No.
So
there is a host of a show named Tom Hartman.
Tom Hartman, yes, he is. And
yeah.
He is an excellent host. He has a show called The Progressive, and it's on Sirius XM radio, and it's a really good show. I mean, it's a really excellent show. I think you would enjoy that show because he talks a lot about politics and what's going on in our community, and so forth and so on. So, how are you, and what are you doing for our community? I know you were involved in politics. So what's going on?
Yeah, I'm involved in politics, but ultimately I really want to get people registered to vote, and I want people to show up to vote. I'm in the League of Women Voters, so I can do that through the League of Women Voters, and I'm also in the NCNW and the NAACP. In the NAACP, I serve on the education committee. So we hosted a book discussion group. We got together and we talked about some of the books that were being challenged around Monroe County. It was leading up to the election. But yeah, we're talking about having story times at our local libraries for Black History Month, which is February. That's next month. So
are we still into trying to ban books?
I haven't heard too much. I think a lot of that was really just chaos by design leading up to the election. Mm-hmm. And I think we'll see that again in the fall.
Really?
And probably even before the primary.
So people haven't realized by banning books, they also ban us from history, our history, and all of our history. Matter of fact, African American history is all year round. It's a part of the American history. So when you start banning American history or the African American books, you're just taking away from us, from all Americans, not just African Americans, but from all Americans.
Absolutely.
hmm hmm So let's talk politics. Let's get into the juice of it. You're a Democrat, correct?
Yep, I am
So
a Democrat.
isn't there an issue? Isn't there an event coming up? I think tomorrow for the Democratic women.
The Democratic women, they're hosting a petition signing event,
Okay, petition for.
and that's at Democrat headquarters. It's on 9th Street in Stroudsburg, and I believe it's between 4 and 8, maybe 9. Um,
And what's the petition for?
they're going to have petitions out for state rep, for Congress. Oh gosh, there's a few others. I'm just not.
Is that also for Attorney General?
Oh yeah, so there's Attorney General, there's Auditor General, Treasurer. Ooh, I still feel like I'm forgetting a few.
Yeah, the auditor, the state treasurer, and attorney general. You're right. And it was a
I know the
judge.
ones I'm excited to sign.
There's also, I think, a judge too. We're trying to locate a judge or get a Supreme Court judge in. How you think we're gonna make out?
I look forward to watching how well Tara Probst does. I'm not
Uh,
actually in her district, but she won by a lot.
Tara Probst is fantastic. Are you kidding me, man? Tara Probst, please, man. If you don't vote for Tara Probst, you need to just stay home. I'm just telling you because Tara, she's a, what do you call it? A phenomenal person. That's what she is. Just
Yeah,
yes,
I
she is.
see that she's like interested in a lot of the things that I care about. Like just today, I was looking. There's a Black Maternal Health Caucus in the state house right now,
Right.
and Tara joined it. So it was a picture of all the people that are in the caucus, and Tara was in there, and I was excited to see her in there, and it makes me feel like I'm represented in Harrisburg when she's
Wow.
in the room.
Well, when you are represented, okay, and her and Maureen Madden. How about that one? How is she doing?
I haven't heard from her.
Well, you heard from Tamiko Patterson. Have you heard about her?
Yep, she's the chair of the Democratic Party,
And
and she's
how
also
is
the
it?
president of the NCNW Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's another phenomenal woman, isn't it? I tell you.
Yeah,
Well, you guys are something
absolutely.
else. You're powerhouses. I love you guys up here in Monroe County. I want to talk a little bit more about politics, though. So, where do you think this country is headed? Just based on your opinion, yeah, that's it. Just where do you think we're headed with this country? You got Biden on one hand, and you got the Republicans on the other hand. Uh, I don't really know what the hell the Republicans are doing because I'm waiting for them to come up with some policies instead of just complaints.
Yeah.
So, what do you
Well,
think about it?
I think the media does a really, really great job of portraying Biden to be elderly and disheveled. And the reality is, Trump is around the same age. And I mean, he's not doing too well in his interviews lately, but that's beside the point. Um, you don't have to love the person that you're going to vote for. But at this point, I really just, I wish everyone could condemn Trump. I wish everyone hated him enough that they could just vote for Biden. You don't have to defend him. You don't have to take blame when people talk about him. I don't take it personally when people talk about Biden, you know. But
Oh,
I think that if Trump wins, we will very quickly go in an extremely dangerous direction. We're already like slipping down that slope with the book banning and the don't say gay bill in Florida, all the bills in Florida, tons of anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ, anti-diversity, anti-everything that we've progressed towards in this country.
And it's funny, we live in a country that is very diverse. I mean, it is very the melting pot, right? And it seems like these guys hate everything. They even hate Americans. I really do. I think that they hate Americans. I don't think they want to be a part of the American system. They want to build their own system, move out. They want to succeed from the country and have their own thing going on, which I don't know if that's such a bad thing. And then maybe we could have some peace. Because it seems like people are forgetting that, we're all Americans. We're all Americans. And
Well, it's
when
funny because they call themselves patriots. And I feel ashamed. Like when they fly the American flag, I feel like it's kind of disgraceful because they always have another symbol next to it and they're always doing
Mhm.
something, saying something gross and against my First Amendment.
Well, it's funny because they do these things and they always scream the First Amendment, but the first time you have some freedom of speech, they condemn you for it.
Oh,
It's like
absolutely.
they can ride around with the flags on the back of their truck and talk about how they're patriots and this and that. And we talk about, I'll say it out, the Confederate flag, that battle Confederate flag. Okay. And they can say, well, it's a part of my history. Well, it's a part of my history too. And it's not a very good part of my history.
Yeah, but you know what? As soon as I say anything, they
Mhm.
automatically, and I'm talking about Moms for Liberty and sympathizers, people like them, they
Mhm.
automatically say, I'm going to sue you for saying that.
Oh
It's like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
automatic at this
But you
point.
don't have freedom of speech though. What happened to that?
Exactly. It's
I'm
moms
telling you,
for only their liberties. Like, let's
yeah,
be real.
yeah. It's like it's very one sided with what they do in this country when it comes. And now that they put all these judges on that's on their side, they got them all on the Supreme Court. They got the judges even in the lower court. So how do you get anything ruled in your favor? I mean, you got to really go up there and fight, like really fight, in order to get bills passed or anything like that. That's why I tell you, I really like Tara because she can get some bills passed.
Well, the Pennsylvania legislature, unfortunately, they passed some of the fewest amounts of bills out of all the states. And they also are one of the highest paid.
Mm. And they're also Republicans.
Well, right now, the Democrats have the majority in the House of Representatives, but the Republicans have the majority in the Senate.
And in
And
the
then the governor is a Democrat.
and the legislator is a Republican for this state, isn't he? Do I
What do
gotta
you
look
mean?
that up? Our legislator, the person
Well,
that
our senator is.
that's good enough, I guess, right? Yeah,
Yeah, we have a senator who's a Republican.
yeah. God help us. So, which direction do you think that we're going in? You think we're going to end up with Biden, or do you think we're going to end up with someone like a Trump or Trump himself?
Um, I'm gonna hope for Biden.
Biden too. Keep my fingers crossed. Attorney General. Do you know Jack? Because if you don't know, then you
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
wait, hang on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm doing.
Are you trying to pronounce his name?
I'm just gonna read it.
Stoll
I think I have it.
Stolstemmer.
Stolstimer.
There you go.
Stolstimer.
And he's running for a district attorney. I mean,
Attorney General.
in general. I saw one of his videos, man. I'm gonna tell you, he
There's
had
a
me
few candidates. There's quite a few candidates.
right. Well, what do
Yeah.
you feel about this guy?
I
I would,
actually haven't met him, but he is a Democrat.
you
I
got
want
some
to
Republicans running for the same slot. So
hang on. There here Bradford Gray is also running.
right.
And I've
She
seen
is.
her. She spoke at a meeting that I was at recently on Zoom.
Yeah, I've seen her too at
I
a,
tend to just
picnic.
lean towards women in general, like as candidates, because
Oh.
I kind of feel like white men, have like.
Well, who do you think is better for the job? I mean, I'm not trying to be biased. I don't try to be like. I try to say
No, but
who's going to be
I'm
best
saying
for
like
the job.
they up until recently have made up, much, if not
Exactly.
all, of the people who write policy and make the laws that we have to follow. That's a fact.
Well, I was rooting for Donald Leaf too, but he didn't get in there.
Oh,
We
I
ended up
was
getting
too. Yeah.
we ended up getting the other guy. So I'm rooting for Jack. I watched some of his stuff. I looked at his history. Bradford is good. She's okay. I've listened to some of her speeches and I've done a little research on her. But I think Jack is going to be my man.
Well,
But,
I will say this. Today is the first day of petitions, and I
uh,
am going to sign Jack's petition because, I believe in everybody's right to get on the ballot.
right.
And I was already asked to sign it, so I'm going to.
Well, then you got to sign it. You got to sign it.
Absolutely.
How's Tom doing?
He's good, I think. I can hear the kids. I hope you can't.
Oh, he has the kids?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, he's pretty good with the kids from what I can
Yeah,
see.
absolutely. I couldn't do anything that I do without him pretty much being with the kids. I still have one kid pretty much full time. I mean, she goes to preschool for a few hours here and there. I mean, they've been sick and then they've had snow days. So between the last 2 months, I think she's gone like 5 times. So I still have one full time at home.
Sorry, I was looking something up about that auditor, the state auditor, and who's running for it.
Are you talking Auditor General?
Yes. At Bradford, I got her. I got a couple of Republicans that are running too.
I have it on my phone. It's Malcolm Kenyatta.
Yeah, that's the name I wanted to say. What do you think of Malcolm?
Well, I've met Malcolm several times, and he's great. I adore Malcolm.
Yeah, I think I met him at one of your parties.
Probably. And he's also advocated for 988 with us with
Right.
the halls in Harrisburg.
Okay.
And it's really important that we have voices like Malcolm's because he's a really powerful voice.
Okay, I'm listening. He's a powerful voice.
Oh, he is.
Okay, so why is he so powerful? What makes him so powerful? What's he do?
Well, he has lived experience, first of all, which you can tell, and he's
Right.
just very relatable.
Yeah, he was pretty relatable, but I wanted to know some of what he thought about as far as his policies were concerned.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he has introduced a lot of bills. I'm thinking right now about Izzy from Lancaster also.
Mm-hmm.
He came and he spoke at a vigil that we had for Christian Hall in December. And he's also another really passionate speaker.
Yes.
And he's a good person to have on your team too. And I believe this is his first term. And he's already passed written a ton of bills. So, good for them.
He's a large man. That impressed me with that. He had a good stage presence and he was very articulate. So I was very proud to hear him speak when he spoke. Yeah, and the visual was very good too. And I'm glad that we had that too because, that 988, we need to have a little bit more interest in that. We need to have more people on board with that.
Yeah, so right now, basically everybody has agreed in Pennsylvania, the governor, the Senate, the House, they've all agreed that there needs to be a study about 988 and 911, but data from states that have 988 well funded, only 2% of those phone calls are rerouted to 911. So I really wish that they could kind of just cut over the research part because who knows how long that's going to take. It's going to require funding at some point, I'm sure, more funding. And there's data from other states where they fund it with a cell phone tax and people barely even notice. I think it might go up like a quarter, less than that, probably a year. But 988 is a line for mental health crisis. But it's also a line that say you're caring for somebody who has behavioral health needs. And this is a common thing that comes up. If you have a loved one, say, that's on the spectrum, that you might not physically be able to control and that you might need to protect other people from. But like those interactions sometimes can be really scary, moments where you can't really communicate.
Mm-hmm.
So say that you're caring for a nonverbal person, you would be able to call 988 instead of 911 because a lot of those interactions don't go well. And a lot of times if there's a language barrier, like you don't share the same language, how are you going to communicate at all? And if somebody's not listening, cops are trained to kill. That's a fact. So it doesn't go well.
And it seems to be that it saves lives.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Statistically wise as well, I believe it does save lives. And,
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm hoping that they incorporate that, I guess, with all 50 states.
Yeah, so they have it. I believe it's in all the states. But I don't think that it has any consistent funding behind it. So some states have that tax that I spoke about, the cell phone tax. So it is funded. But Pennsylvania really needs to just fund it.
Yeah, because
I am grateful that they're going to initiate a study. That's really awesome. And the group that we worked with, Justice for Christian Hall, we worked with another group that helped us push us over the finish line. They said that in all their experience, they've never had one go through this fast, that sometimes it takes 6, 7, 8 years to get this far. Yeah, in Pennsylvania. Yeah. So that's kudos to Christian Hall's family because they've worked so hard consistently ever since Christian was killed.
Are we doing anything about the gun control in this state?
Well, they're trying.
I mean, I guess everyone has a gun here pretty much, right?
So the Pennsylvania House of Representatives is, how do I say this nicely? The average age is a lot younger than the Senate. So the conversation is kind of changing. And also now there's more women represented there. So people are talking about women's healthcare, access to healthcare. But they're also talking about the environment and gun safety. So there's a few legislators that I can think of who have written legislation. Jen O'Mara from, I want to say Delaware County. But she's written a few bills, I think, about gun safety. There's one that I don't quite understand anything about guns, honestly. I'm sort of a pacifist, but an automatic trigger thing that they just want to ban. And honestly, I don't see what the problem is. Why can't they just ban it? But the conversation about that in the House Judiciary Committee, the Republican guy with the bow tie, I forgot his name already, thankfully. He got up and he said, we need more Americans to have guns because we have so many immigrants. And thank God Malcolm Kenyatta stepped in and he said, how dare you say that? Because you are literally implying that people should go around and just take them out. And how are you even supposed to know, that's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, that seems like the whole attitude when they came to this country. You kill them all and take what they can take. Just get rid of all of them because this is America. This is our country. And I think that's kind of how the attitude is of a lot of people, especially like those supremacy people who think that they're the great.
I think they're afraid because of what you said before. All the diversity.
Yeah, well, I
they're
mean,
never going to be the majority ever again.
Oh, this country's always been diverse. I mean, yeah, either with enslaved people or people that came in and indentured servants or just people that migrated into this country. We've always had immigrants. No one in this country actually is from this is from this country unless you're native.
Most of the issue is there's a thing called the browning of America, and that's what a lot of people feel. Like she said, the minority and the majority, those lines are blurred now. You know what I mean? So that's the issue.
I don't see where they should have so much of an issue because a lot of the people that are our kinfolk, our skin folk, a lot of them are brainwashed anyway. So you get a cat like Tim Scott. Did you hear today on the news? He was talking about he tried to quote something from Fannie Lou Hamer. There was a quote where she says, "I'm tired of being sick and tired." But the way he said it was like such a buffoon. I'm tired of being sick and tired. It was horrible. So I don't know if we got to worry so much about the browning of America because those guys that move up into certain social structures, if you want to say, a lot of them are brainwashed anyway. I mean, look at what's Clarence Thomas? Jesus Christ! Yeah, okay. I mean, just because he's brown, we the same color. We do not think alike, not at all.
Right.
And I don't even that browning of America. What is that supposed to mean? Is that we're all monolithic, so we all think the same, and we don't all think the same.
It's already happened around the world.
Right.
If you look at North Africa, Morocco, Egypt, all those places, right?
Right.
The complexion of the people is what? Light brown.
Right.
Right. They went from being dark.
I don't know that I've ever heard that song said.
When everybody started mixing and living together, the people, their skin became lighter because of the browning of North Africa, and that's what happened.
Well,
and that's what people are afraid.
Okay.
In today's time, those same people that you talk about in North Africa, like in Ghana, you know what the number one product is? Selling product is cream lightening skin to lighten your skin. It's cream to lighten your skin.
Do you think that same is like
they've already been brainwashed? They've already been brainwashed to think a certain way.
Right.
They've been colonized just like everyone else has been colonized. So that it's the powers that be. Yeah. If you think like the powers that be, act like the powers that be, then you may get accepted into the door. But you have to emulate into that hierarchy. They're not just going to give you the key and say come in, and it doesn't matter what complexion you are. And in politics, there are no real enemies and there are no real friends. It's only what the interest is. As long as we have common interest, then we're buddies. And it doesn't matter what complexion you are. So the browning of America, I mean, I get with it, but I think that's just a talking point that people like to use when they want to talk racism, so because we've had a lot of African Americans in this country that have risen to certain levels. I mean, even back to 1965 when what's his name? They were having a conversation. James Baldwin, that he was having a conversation. What was it? Wiki? I forget the guy's name. But in the speech, he was saying that even back in 1965, there were 35 millionaires, African Americans, that were here right here. So money and didn't equate to power. And even now, money does not equate to power. You got to assimilate into that hierarchy, as I said. Like with Trump, you want to be the man, get behind Trump. Even black people are getting behind Trump, and I don't understand why. They don't even know this man. And they think they act like this guy actually cares about them. He only cares about himself.
I think that's the thing. Our area has been represented by Republicans historically, and some of those are just jobs, like controller, that's an accountant, but when you're talking about like state rep and senator, those were all Republicans for a long time, I believe. And, I just don't think that they've actually done anything. And I say that as the wife of a small business owner. they promise a lot of stuff, tax breaks, lower this, lower cost that. But, like we get an electric vehicle for the company and suddenly Rosemary Brown's introducing this tax for electric vehicles because, when you're not buying gas, you're not contributing to the gas tax. And I mean, I do believe in paying the gas tax. I happen to have some loved ones who get paid from that chunk of money. So fine, take it. But don't tell us that you've done anything for us.
Mm-hmm. No, they don't usually do a whole lot for. I'm just trying to figure out. What's this guy? He's an incumbent. Reader? Is that his name?
Jack Rader. Yeah.
Jack Rader. Yeah, he's an incumbent. I think one of his associates of ours is going up against him. What's Hope?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think she's running for that.
So that's the 176. That's the West End.
That's 176. I think she'll be running for that. So that's a hill to climb trying to beat an incumbent. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he won the last time too.
Oh yeah, and in the West End nonetheless. It's a very red area, and I think we're gonna have a different. I think it's gonna be interesting to compare the numbers of this upcoming election with this past November's election, because it sort of looked like the West End was leaning Democratic. So I guess I'm interested to see if that's a real trend.
Well, you got Linda Zach over there, and she's
absolutely, and Teresa Daly and Nellie.
Yeah, and they all put the word out. I know because they even knock on my door. They actually do the knock on the door thing.
Yeah, well, I'm doing that this weekend for Congressman Matt Cartwright.
Oh, he's got to run? He's running again?
Yeah, so he's running again, and we have to collect signatures. I believe he needs 1,000. But yeah, there's a group of us that's meeting at headquarters on Saturday, I believe at 1:00. And we're going to go out with petitions in the boroughs, the areas where it's easy to knock on a lot of doors.
I really like him. He's reachable. I mean, I met some people in my time, and they get a title, and they're not very reachable. He's very reachable. I've met him on so many occasions at picnics, at the club, not the club, but at the different events and affairs that we've had over the past couple of years, and I really like him. Yeah, so make sure you drop by my house so I can sign up.
Yeah, he surprised my husband because he remembered his name. We saw him at the Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast. No, that's not what it was. It was at ESU. It was the art show.
Okay.
Oh, I better get this right. No.
You sure it wasn't the inauguration of Kenneth Long?
No, it definitely wasn't. It was recent. Oh boy. I should be embarrassed.
Don't be embarrassed.
I didn't post,
Well, he's got a pretty good memory. I can say that because every time he sees me and
better than me apparently.
He's better than me, and he says, "Hey, Kendall," he's always ready to pose for a picture. For those that don't know, I'm a photographer as well, and I do video as well. So, they see me on this and they don't exactly know what I do. They think I'm just a host of radio show. But when I'm not here, yes, I'm a photographer and videographer. So I get the opportunity to take a lot of pictures. Taking a lot of pictures of Miss Hartman over here. Some beautiful ones too. So.
Yes, thank you.
And
speaking of forgetting, I forgot to mention APIPA, which was one of the other organizations that took all of this stuff, Justice for Christian Hall. It turned into, the potential for real policy, honestly, in Harrisburg. APIPA had a lot to do with that.
You got.
And I forgot to mention that.
A lot of people don't understand acronyms. APIP.
All right, Kendall. I want to get this one right too.
Okay, get it right, sister. APIP. Yes, do I have to look it up on my phone? I only do that because
Asian Pacific Islander Political Alliance.
There you go. Okay.
That's what I mess up the PA because sometimes I think it's Pennsylvania Political Alliance.
Okay.
Yeah. They do a lot of work in Harrisburg.
Okay. What kind of work do they do?
Well, they're a voice for Asian Pacific Islanders in Harrisburg.
Okay.
And one of the things that they're advocating for when it comes to 988 is that when somebody dials 988, they're actually getting a linguistically responsible response. So, like, if you don't speak English, if you speak Chinese, that's available to you. Or if you can't speak at all.
Okay.
Just that, like, they're accommodating language, or even if you're nonverbal, just, yeah.
And how are their resources? Are they receiving any funds for what they do? Enough funds?
Well, we haven't spent money, if that's what you're asking.
Pennsylvania hasn't spent any money.
No, they organized the day for us in Harrisburg where we went and we talked to different legislators about 988 and why it's important. Yeah.
All right. Well, we understand why 988 is so important, because you have people with mental health, and mental health is definitely a crisis here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, pretty much across the country, but it's pretty high here in Pennsylvania, even amongst the students in the school.
I was just going to say, especially amongst the students.
Yeah, how is it affecting them with this mental health thing? What issues are they having?
Well, I will say this: I was watching, I think it was the Education Committee. They're talking about funding more mental health professionals in the schools.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of, I guess, how do you say, lowering the ratio or raising the ratio? I'm not sure. Making it better.
How do they plan to make it better? I'm just asking.
Because they're going to hire more staff. So, like, say right now the ratio is like 1 to every 1,200 students. Like, right. They have a guidance counselor. They want it so it's 1 per every 800, say. That's not what it is, but they're setting aside funding so that the school districts can hire more counselors.
Yeah, hypothetically speaking, I got you.
Yeah, and that's a step in the right direction. And they're also talking about, I think Governor Shapiro recently made it so you can get a teaching certificate in less than a week. So,
which type of certificate?
Teaching certificate.
No way.
I'm not sure that that's all you need. I think, you need another degree with it.
Okay, so a guy's got a bachelor's degree. He can get a teacher's certificate.
I don't know. I think so.
And he wouldn't have to. It's funny. I was going to be a teacher in this state, and I went through a little bit more than something that took me a little bit more than a week, because you got to get examined. They want to find out your whole life. If you're a pedophile, if you have a criminal background. All of these things come into play when you're going to become a teacher. And it takes a little more than a week to sometimes get those results back.
Yeah.
And then you got to go to the interview, and it's a lot that you got to go through to become a teacher. And I think it should be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Teachers are supposed to be professionals. Mm-hmm.
I actually had a college roommate that was studying early childhood education.
Mm-hmm.
And she is an educator, but she works at a private school. So, and it's a private Jewish school. So she's sort of protected there because she's Jewish and she's at a Jewish day school. But I'm not really sure that would be her experience here in, rural Pennsylvania.
Well, I tell you, amongst the Jewish community, it seems like they're very well educated. And they seem to have a lot of resources for their school, their education system, the way they set it up. I know they base it off religion, but and that's why they can have that type of school, because it's religion based. I just wish us as African Americans could also have the same type of school, and we wouldn't have to base it off of religion, but just to teach us. Because in the Jewish schools, they learn what it is to be Hebrew. They learn their language, they learn their culture, they learn all the way back, okay? And here in America, as an African American, you have a hard time learning about who you are and where you come from. And I just think that, and I'm not talking about segregation. I'm just saying if you had a school that was based on African Americans that would teach us about who we are, where we come from, because of the enslavement, a lot of us don't know where we come from unless we decide to get a DNA test. You see, so a school like that would help us to understand who we are. That's all.
Well, yeah, we always learn about what white people have done. We don't learn about Black contributions to our country's history. Not really in school. We learn about civil rights, but we don't really learn, Black people have made significant contributions to the foundation of our country. And we don't learn about it in school. That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, I could just tell you that when I
hope that makes sense.
when I talk about or you talked about white people, I kind of don't, because it kind of puts all white people in when you, at least during the conversation, it sounds
yeah.
And I'm going to tell you,
we learned about Christopher Columbus, and we also learned a completely BS story about Christopher Columbus, by the way.
Well, we still learn a BS story about George Washington chopping down some daggone tree. Some cherry or apple tree. Yeah, that he didn't tell a lie. But I mean, people like like Benjamin Franklin. I admire that man so much. He was a hell of an inventor. I like technology. So yeah, Benjamin Franklin, he was a hell of an inventor. Along with that, he was a hell of a politician, because even during the signing in 1776, when he was one of the ones that said, well, he wanted to incorporate slaves as far as being free. He didn't think that the country was going to wasn't going to. He was an abolitionist too. So, and he also had as his interns or people that worked for him were African Americans. What was the cat? Louis Latimer, I believe, was also one of the people that worked for him. Went on to become a very famous engineer or scientist. You see, so they were.
I definitely did not learn that in school.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They don't teach that kind of stuff. Right. What I'm saying is, I learned that through African American, through learning from African American history, because I learned actually about the guy that worked for Benjamin Franklin, and then I got to learn a lot about Benjamin Franklin. And like I said, he was a man to be admired. He wasn't the racist guy. When his friends old slave, he didn't like that. He wasn't, and he also wasn't the guy to go along to get along. No. The only thing maybe with the signing of the Constitution, because everyone else felt that it wasn't time yet, that it wasn't ready yet to free slaves and whatnot.
Or the Constitution. If you ever want to hear the Constitution be read, you can just go to the commissioners meeting. I think it's the first Wednesday of every month. I don't know. You have to confirm that.
And do they read the 14th Amendment?
We haven't gotten that far. I think she read from maybe, I honestly don't know. I can't keep up. It's kind of like they speak another language.
Well, I tell you, next you speak to her, you ask her about the 14th.
She quotes a 1776 version of the Constitution that has since been amended and all sorts of other things. So, I mean, it's a little cuckoo.
Well, there's a lot of things written in the Constitution, and trying to read the Constitution from end to end is kind of like trying to read the Bible. It's kind of like trying to read the Old Testament. It's a little hard reading, and you really got to understand it, the language. That's why you have people like that. Yeah. What is it? The PhD, they got PhDs, and Obama, he was a constitutional lawyer. So you got really, really smart people that can interpret what it means.
Right.
Sometimes I don't know. I don't understand what the hell these people are talking about, because, like I said, they come up with these things when it's in their favor. Like freedom of speech. Like that young lady. Here we go.
Yeah, for sure.
How about the young lady at Harvard? What's her last? I believe her last name is Gray. I don't remember. She was the professor.
Yeah.
That the Jewish people decided to come down on, because actually she, when I looked at it, she was trying to protect freedom of speech. It's people say all kind of things, and when they want to say it, they go F Biden, right? That shouldn't be allowed. But if you say something against a particular group of people, they come down on you. I mean, the woman had to resign, and she didn't say it. She was just more or less protecting people's right to freedom of speech. We're in America. We're not in the other countries. So I can't go by what the other countries feel. I know what the American and what the American constitutional law says. It says we have the freedom of speech. Nobody went in there and said we're setting fire to a movie theater. And nobody said we're going to shoot up the place or anything like that. They just had their opinion about what's going on in Gaza. And it's kind of like you can't have an opinion. Because if you're for one, then you're against the other. Or if you're against the other, you're for one. Both of them are wrong. From history, I tell you, both of them are wrong. And they've been wrong with each other throughout history. So I just hope that they clean it up over there. And everybody can stop this. The Palestinians can do their thing, and the Jews can do their thing, and everybody can do this in peace. Because the way this thing looks like it's going, man, all these other countries getting involved, Yemen, Iran, and I just don't like. I don't like the feel of it. It feels like we're headed towards another war, and a war like a world war, and I just don't like the way that feels. What do you think about that? Curious.
Well, I feel like if this country votes for Trump this year, that is the direction that we're headed in anyway. So I don't know. Well, I certainly hope that it's not the direction we go in. But yeah, I do kind of have a sense of doom incoming.
Yeah, doom and gloom, because chaos seems to follow that man. I'm telling you, it does. And if he gets in the White House, I just hope it doesn't spread, because you got people around the world that's just like itching to want to kill each other. They just itching to push that button to blow everything up, and they say, well, I'm protecting my country. It doesn't seem like they're protecting if they're the advancers. Not at all. If they're the aggressors, it don't seem like they're protecting anything. And then they're trying to build bigger and bigger weapons. It's like they just want to blow up the world, and we have nobody in it. Well, that's pretty much what like it would be, right? What do you call it? And what's that word they call the apocalypse? That
apocalypse?
Would be, yeah, the apocalypse. I guess that would be the next thing that we have. This is GenesisRadio.com. My name is Kendall. I'm the host of the Empowerment Show. You can give us a call if you like. It's 888-304-4401. You can talk to Miss Hartman, or you can talk to myself. Thank you for tuning in, though. I'm sorry about that young lady. I had to throw that in there, And if anybody wants to sponsor, or if they want their business to be heard on this on our time period, you can just give me a call, or you can give Terry a call, and we'll be glad to announce you on the radio. And also,
I think that Jane is listening.
Mm-hmm. You think Jane is listening?
Jane Gaga Gagliardo.
Yeah, Jane Gagliardo. Well, if you're listening, Jane, I'll sure be glad when you come in and you can tell us all about your book. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know her, she's gone through some tragedies in her life, and she's definitely a survivor, and she's a very strong person. And I'm glad
she's an advocate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a fighter. She's very much a fighter. And just like the young man I had on last week, Rick Franzo, that young man with the brain tumors, man, that was amazing that he came through and became a growth coach. And you too are amazing, Maggie. Love to see you all over the place, you and Jeff.
Oh, and Jane won her election, so she is also a councilwoman.
Ah, wow. See, they win the election and then they disappear.
Yes. East Stroudsburg is so lucky to have Jane.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I said, it's in this Monroe County. It seems like the women in Monroe County they're the power ones. They're the what do they call it? Shakers and movers. They make things happen here. So,
I totally agree with that. Yeah, for sure. I never really thought that I would ever run for office.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm still shocked that I did that.
You know who else won? Krista.
Yeah.
Krista won
Oh yeah, Krista Caceres.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Pike County Commissioner.
Yeah, she won too. And I
Yes,
hope she
and
does
now
well.
she's back to being the president of the Monroe County NAACP.
And will she be the first Democrat in that office? I think she is. I think she's the first Democrat in that office.
Perhaps.
I think it's all been Republican. All right.
She shattered a lot of glass ceilings, so like I don't even want to start because I will forget something really important.
What you talking about with Krista?
Krista, yeah.
Yeah, Krista's got it going on too. I've got an occasion to meet her as well. She's, like I said, in Monroe County, you have a lot of strong women and African American women, Hispanic American women.
So that's what I was gonna say. That I never thought that I would run for office, and it was fall of 2022 when I decided to run, and it was right after there was a whole group of women that had just run for state rep and Senate. Yeah, it was watching, what they were doing. I just kind of thought, I want to do that. Well, and then I went on Google and I had to make sure there wasn't anything bad. No, I'm only joking.
Well, my question is, are you going to run again?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if it's going to be for school board.
What would you like to run?
I have a few ideas. Well, whatever I do, it's going to be in a few years. So, I don't want to say anything.
Why? Good. Let it out. Let everybody know what you want to do.
But I am going to be circulating petitions for Matt Cartwright.
Okay. And that's on Saturday, you said?
And also Tara Probst. So if you want to sign a petition for one of them, just let me know.
I'm always willing to sign petitions for either one of them.
Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of events. I can post them in the comments later.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Tara and her family. She too has a wonderful family. She has a nice art show too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had to throw that in there. Yeah. If you want to come and see a really nice art show, what is that, 15th 9th Street? South 9th Street, where her office is. She has a really nice collection of art there. And it's open to the public. You can walk in, I guess, from 9 to 5 or 9 to 4, and you can check out the art that's being displayed. Okay, so we got 10 minutes left, and I'm going to cut this short and say thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate you coming on. And you were spur of the moment. You're at the spur of the moment, so I really appreciate it. I hope you guys tune in too. Like I said, we're going to have that Attorney General, the person, Jack. And
Jack Stolzheimer.
There you go. Jack Stolzheimer will be on the show. And that will be February 14th. Next week is the 31st, so we plan to have Tamika Patterson. That's Tamika.
Awesome.
Right. We're hoping to have her on the show next week. So we got a couple of guests that'll be coming up, and hoping that everybody wants to tune in and that they will enjoy, or that at least they will be informed. And that's what we try to do here on this radio station, at least on this show, is that we try to inform our listeners. Now, I just want to give a shout out to a young man, Ronald Yates. And Ronald Yates has a show here. I think it's For Reasons. And that's the name of the show, For Reasons. And he is an excellent host, and he has an excellent show. And he's the type of person that he speaks truth to power. He can be controversial, so you don't always have to agree with him, but you can agree to disagree. And like I say, he has a really fantastic show, and I listen into it because I like to hear what he has to say. So again, this is GenesisRadio.com. My name is Kendall. I'm the host of the Empowerment Show, which is a branch off of Unity in the Community. And don't forget, this year, 2024, we're going to have a big jam that's going to be going on in Unity in the Community, just like we had last year, but I think it's going to be just that much more. All right, so we're hoping that people come down, get their tents, get all the vendors out, and and make sure we get this thing on and popping, as they would say, as the young people say, right? Because I'm old. And again, thank you very much, Ms. Hart. We appreciate
You're
you
welcome.
coming on. My name is Kendall, and peace. We're out.
Thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel.